Welcome to episode 16 of Win Me the Lottery. How you doing, Chris?
I'm fantastic, thank you, Tony. But I hear that you've actually been dancing in the desert.
I have indeed. So I've just got back from Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, so Abu Dhabi is obviously in the United Arab Emirates. So people rave on about Dubai, but I think Abu Dhabi is where it's at.
You actually preferred Abu Dhabi because I think you visited Dubai while you were there, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, usually people spend the whole week in Dubai and then do a day trip to Abu Dhabi just to see the Grand Mosque. But I actually did it the other way around. So spent the week in Abu Dhabi and did the day to Dubai. And to be honest, I think it worked out probably for the best.
So you preferred Abu Dhabi to Dubai?
Yeah. And I'll tell you why, Chris.
Yeah.
There's a lot more culture there. There's the Ferrari world, so I'm sure people who win the lottery will probably be interested in getting, some type of sports car.
Yeah.
I mean, Ferrari was always a car that I looked at as a kid, going, I really want one of those. But they have the world's fastest roller coaster.
That is the height of culture.
Yeah, it's called the Formula Rossa, and the speed is 240 miles per hour or 150 miles per hour. So 240 kilometers per hour, 150 miles per hour.
That is fast.
I thought I was going to break my neck on that one.
And when you told me about that, because, there's that famous ride in Thorpe Park in the UK, Stealth, where it goes from 0 to 80 miles an hour at, 4 seconds or whatever, and that's tough. But this is almost double the speed of that one.
I had to wear goggles. I mean, most people wore goggles, but yeah, just to ensure my glasses wouldn't go flying. But if you're into that type of stuff, by all means. I don't think I would do it again. But one thing I would say about Abu Dhabi and Dubai is that, boy, do they know how to do luxury malls. It is absolutely beautiful. I mean, any designer brand, they're all there. And it's actually quite inspiring to go, look, if I was a millionaire, imagine just going to every shop, filling your boots. I mean, I'll take that, I'll take this, I'll take that. I mean, how many watches can one buy? There's who's buying all these watches and handbags and designer gear? But hey, if you've got money, you've got more money than sense.
Do they have good toilets as well? Because I remember when I've been in Asia in these luxury malls, it's like Japanese heated toilets and stuff like that.
I didn't see those Toto toilets. I'm sure there are dotted around somewhere, but like you said, Chris, it's the most cleanest toilets I've ever been. The toilet attendants are just there, they are
permanently there.
They're just attending to
24/7 attendance.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're not attending to you in the. I mean, I don't know actually. I never asked.
Well, they probably would, given what they're probably paid, which is probably like £1 a day.
Yeah,
I'm sure they'd be more than happy to earn some extra cash.
I'm sure if you were. I mean, this is going on to our side house. I'm sure if you were to give them a few quid, I don't know what other things you can ask them to do, but hey.
And this is our topic of the week: side hustles.
Yeah, and talking about side hustles, I mean, the reason why we want to discuss this in this episode is that the day job isn't going to cut it for people that want financial freedom. So if you want financial freedom, you've got to find out how to increase your income or win the lottery. And let's be honest, Chris, it's a long shot for most people winning the lottery. Not for us, but other people have to find other plans.
Most people aren't putting in several hours a week creating a podcast about their journey to win the lottery, so they don't deserve it, quite frankly, whereas we do. Side hustles are a way, with costs going up, precarious situation in the job market.
Yeah.
Side hustles are how you get that extra income and you achieve the financial freedom that you're looking for.
Yeah, and I think it's something that is more ingrained with the younger generation, like Gen Zs. I think they've seen how precarious the job market is. Even millennials, they're like, I can't rely on one single income. I need to ensure that I have maybe multiple income streams to make sure that, I can sustain, a certain standard of living if my job, kind of gets rid of me.
And many people are saying, why should I work for the man only? Why should I spend my entire life working for the man upstairs, the fat cats?
Or woman.
Or women.
Yeah.
Or whatever they might be. Instead, look, I'm going to have a side hustle. I'm going to work for myself in addition to that. and I'm going to make a bit more cash, and I'm going to do something that interests me.
Yeah, and I think it's super relevant. I mean, side hustles is a word that's been bandied around a lot last few years I've seen. And some people actually don't like the word. They just say, just call it a second job. But I think side hustle is still relevant because sometimes these are things that people do, and we are in the digital age. That isn't really a job. You know, whether you're an influencer, you've got a website. You know, I don't know. You could be mowing the lawn for your neighbours, which is a bit more traditional, I'd say.
Yeah, washing cars, topless or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, whatever actually gives the highest return.
Well, you normally wash your car topless anyway, don't you?
If only I had a car. I mean, I wash other people's cars
Topless.
Yeah. Cool. So that's our topic a week for later. But didn't we have an email?
Well, we've had thousands of emails because we have, of course, been off for a couple of weeks while you've been away in the Middle East. But one in particular from Lizzie from Bedford. So thank you for this, Lizzie. So she said, "Hey guys, just found you on YouTube and searched for the podcast. It's good to see a podcast with diversity at last." So I think she's alluding, if you look at a lot of these podcasts that you see, it's two white blokes. Okay, fine, we're two blokes.
Yeah.
We are going to have some guests coming on soon, but we do at least have some diversity, Tony, on this.
I agree. She could be referring to, maybe there's a podcast where it might be two Asian blokes or two
that might
Asian
be what she
girls
meant.
or two, you know, black folks. Is that we're like one of each. You know, we're like a melting pot come together.
Exactly.
It's great.
And that's what
She's
we
probably
want.
wondering why my English is so good as well.
She did say that.
Yeah.
No, she didn't. She said, so you might remember on this podcast a while ago, we did talk, might have even been on the last one, where we spoke about the whole Robbie Williams, Gary Barlow debate.
Oh yeah.
And I come down very strongly that Robbie Williams is far superior. He's more charming, he's more charismatic. He's just got a better back catalogue, even though I accept maybe Barlow had a better voice. Whereas, Tony, you're a huge fan of Barlow. You think he's hot as all hell. You think he's way sexier, and you just prefer him.
You know, Robbie Williams. Okay, the dynamic between Robbie Williams and Gary Barlow, it's like, say, in the workplace, you got someone that does the hard graft, who's really the brains and the genius behind the work, but they're not getting the credit for it. And you've got like someone that is the loudmouth, cheeky chappy, who's the loudest and is getting all the glory, is not really, you know, providing the value. I think his music's overrated.
Robbie Williams.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Lizzie has said this, and I think I don't like what I'm about to read out, but she says, "I have to say, I hate Robbie Williams. He doesn't entertain me." I do like that one. "You will always be under the shadow of Gary Barlow in my eyes." That's what she said. So that's Lizzie from Bedford.
Well, I think
So at least
Lizzie's
you've got somebody else who's on your plane there.
I think so, and I think she's got her head screwed right. I mean, let's be honest. I think there might be the majority will probably go, "Oh, Robbie Williams is the star of Take That," and so forth.
Just a legend. He's a genius. But I did also see a tweet, or as it's called, a post on X now, where somebody was saying songs that are banned from my wedding. And she said, "Sweet Caroline." She can kind of see it's a bit overdone now, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then she said, "Any song by Robbie Williams" as well. So he's getting a lot of hate. I think you've sort of propagated this. You've kicked it all off. And the poor guy is probably in the pits of despair at home, having seen that video where he was slating him.
Possibly. I mean, we're talking about Robbie. We're making him more relevant now.
Yeah, true. But yeah, thank you for that, Lizzie. And then, because we did post this clip, that's what caused a bit of engagement with this one. Ali Smith also just responded with 4 crying out loud laughing emoji. So
Great engagement.
Yeah, thanks for the laughs. Great engagement. But please clarify, what team are you on there? Is it Robbie or Gary?
I reckon she's a Robbie.
Most people are.
Yeah. But hey, you know, each to their own. What about Jason Orange? Why are we mentioning him?
We should. I mean, in a way, it's kind of like the Dubai Abu Dhabi, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you got to go out of left field sometimes.
Actually, you remind me, there is a joke about, you know, Dubai and Abu Dhabi. And if I can remember it correctly, they said something about like people in Dubai don't like the Flintstones, but people in Abu Dhabi do. Do you get it?
I think you told me this before you went.
You know the Flintstones as Yabba Dabba Do, but Abu Dhabi Do.
Right.
That was the idea. But
That
cool.
was brilliant.
If we move on to our first segment, which is last Saturday's draw,
Yeah.
what was the jackpot? So the jackpot was 4 million, conservative jackpot there. What were the winning numbers? It was 18, 20, 22, 34, 47, 58, and the bonus ball was Sweet 16.
Lovely.
Machine name was Guinevere.
And just to interject on that, we're going to touch on this later, so stay tuned. This could be the last time we ever have a machine name named Guinevere.
All knights around table.
So,
Are they in danger?
they are in danger, possibly.
King Arthur needs to raise the sword and fight back.
Yes.
That should be interesting. So we've got ball set 11. And the important part is, what were my numbers? What were our numbers, Chris? So 3, 9, 14, 16, 48, and 49.
Not a single match in sight.
Well, bonus ball we did.
Oh, we got the bonus ball.
Yeah, so
Sweet
we-
16. Nice.
Sweet legal 16. Which
Yes.
is what we matched. But
Philip
that's the only one.
Schofield has made it very clear 16 is legal.
Yes, 16 is is legal. Yeah, what happened? No, we'll save that for another podcast.
He's got to be back soon, though.
Yeah.
He's got to be back
He
soon.
has to be back. I mean, enough time's gone past. You
Yeah.
know, we believe
Well-
in second chances.
Yeah, we got the general election this year, and the BBC are wondering who's, because Hugh Edwards did it last time. And could he make a comeback? We don't know. We don't know.
But him replace.
Oh,
Hugh
what?
Edwards.
Phil Schofield.
It's like,
Maybe they should just do it together. Phil and Hugh.
Why not? Why not?
Why not?
2 silver foxes.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
Okay, cool. So, moving swiftly on, I guess we can start talking about our topic of the week.
Topic of the week, which this week is side hustles, as we mentioned, Tony.
So, side hustles is super relevant in this economy, and I think going forward, really, I think the days are gone of us having a single job for the 30 years, a fat, nice pension, and we'll kind of walk into the sunset with a golden handshake and maybe a Rolex.
Abu Dhabi.
Yeah. And I would always like to start with some stats. I think
Yes.
just to give people a bit of context, is that
Cold hard maths.
maths is the way to go. So this is from a website called Finder.com,
Yeah.
and they were analysing side hustles. And for Brits, they highlight that 43% of Brits have a side hustle as an additional source of income in 2024. So that, I don't know what you think about that number, 43% of Brits.
It's a lot higher than what I would have anticipated. I'd say maybe a third or
Yeah.
a quarter.
Yeah, I thought it's on the way to almost half, wouldn't you say? And it's quite interesting how they would class, what a side hustle is.
Yeah.
Because we can go through that. But if we start talking about the average income from side hustles, they found it was about £207 a week or $900 a month.
Which
That
isn't bad.
something to sniff at, really. I think that's a cinema job for me was what I got paid a month. When my first cinema
really?
job was just like, I'd be happy with $900
Yeah.
a month. When they start looking at gender, so they said around half of men, 49% make money from a side hustle compared to 37% of women.
Okay, so there's it's not a huge difference.
Yeah. I would have thought it'd be higher for some reason.
Yeah.
I guess maybe it's a matter. You keep hearing stuff about OnlyFans and stuff, and that seems to be.
Yeah. Obviously,
TikToks,
Vinted and all those
Vinted,
things,
yeah.
selling clothes, whatever.
But yeah, this is Brit, so
Foot Finder.
yeah.
I know you're a pro subscriber to that, aren't you?
Hey, people want to make money.
And men
if they-
can go on there too. I can vouch for that.
And then they start looking at, obviously the various different generations. So they said that more than 2/3 of Generation Z, 68% earn more money from side hustles compared to just 7% of the silent generation.
And the silent generation is like the generation above the baby boomers.
Yeah.
They're like 78 plus. So I'm surprised it's even 7% of them who are doing it.
I mean, like, they were the ones that we're pretty sorted with like the long-term careers, the pension and stuff like that.
What you were referring to before, but it's definitely the stats bear out that it's the younger generations who are doing more of the side hustles, and they're just saying that we're going to stick it to the man, like I said,
Or woman.
or women.
Yeah. I guess they would tell you that, actually, the Gen Zs.
Yes. Yeah. Because mind you, I saw really interesting research recently. You know, we often say Gen Z, they're more in touch with a lot of change in society. But this research showed that apparently females in Gen Z are far more attuned to that. And actually, there's a huge divide. And we'll come on to this maybe on a future podcast. There's a huge divide between the attitudes of men and women in Gen Z. So we've got to touch on that. It was really interesting, man. I'll share it with you. And that's across the globe. It was, Australia. I think they looked at Australia, Korea, US, Germany, and the UK.
Oh, wow. Gen Z, they are we are the future leader, but they are the future leaders. So, we'll talk about millennials, which is us, I guess.
Yeah.
Apparently, millennials earn the most from side
Not
hustles,
surprised.
with an average income of £1,208, and that is
that's nothing compared to what we're making from this podcast.
Yeah, that's about a day, isn't it?
Oh, sorry, was that pence or?
That's pounds.
Right.
Well, we're aiming for that, Chris.
Yes, absolutely.
You're probably wondering, like, we talked about what are the most popular side hustles they found. So, according to the research, the top 3 most popular side hustles are, as you said earlier, selling old clothes on Vinted or similar.
Nice. Yeah, I like that one.
I've never sold anything online, like clothes-wise. I don't know about you. Have you ever sold anything?
Old socks, as part of my Foot Finder subscription plan.
Okay, that still counts. Second one is a part-time second job. That could be what?
That's
delivering
so
pizzas
boring. It could be post office. Yeah, Deliveroo. Gig economy. Uber. Yeah. I bet that's opened it up. Uber, Deliveroo, free now, all that stuff.
Yeah, you just touched on the post office. I don't know if I would want to work for them.
Oh, given what's happened.
Yeah, you go to prison.
Yeah, that was scandalous.
That is, well, we could touch on that on another podcast. I think that is absolutely atrocious what's happened there. The third one is, an obvious one I would say, is becoming a social media influencer on TikTok or similar. A
content creator, as they're now known.
Or
so many of them. So many of them, Tony, now.
So I think that's a bit of interest to give a bit of context that, it's quite viable. You can earn quite a nice little kind of chunk of, even like it can substitute almost some people's incomes, but I don't think it's enough for the majority of people to live off, 1,200 is probably not quite enough.
It's going to expand your income and hopefully give you more money to be able to save and to, discretionary spending.
Yeah.
Put towards that. Hopefully you're paying off your bills with your main gig.
Yeah.
And able to have a bit of discretionary spending, save up as well. Yeah. And this is just more to save and splash out and enjoy yourself a bit more.
Imagine that. Imagine to put away 1,200 a month. Just straight off your side hustle.
Yeah.
I think that's quite good.
Sure.
And we not even talk about the very rare few percent that are making like hundreds of thousands and so forth from it. But moving on to talking about kind of like side hustle ideas, I know you already talked quite a few ideas about the Ubers and your Deliveroos. They're quite obvious ones. Shopify actually had some 25 side hustle ideas for 2024. Some that, is quite relevant for us, Chris.
Yeah.
Start a podcast, hello. This is what we're doing. YouTube as well. This is something we're doing. The only other ones that I saw were a little bit interesting were like, give tours of your neighbourhood. That's an interesting side hustle.
Yeah, depending on where you live. Because if you live in Luton...
I'd be interested. I don't think I'll give you any money for it.
Croydon.
Funny enough,
we've had a few people email in from Croydon before. I'm not sure that would go down quite... But, people might be looking to move into the area or something like that.
I think, given how much Croydon is mentioned on, like, the various, like, London subreddits, a tourist would be like, why is people slating this Croydon? What is this area? I want to explore it. Can someone take me through it? But my own experience of a neighbourhood tour was when I went to Harrogate, and that's in Yorkshire.
Oh, lovely. Yeah,
and this guy was advertising tours, and he said it was completely free. And he took us round. He was very knowledgeable. He was a former butler, so he had a good way about him. And he was talking about this, and then I think he was quite clever. He was actually, how he made money was actually kind of appealing to people's good nature and getting tips at the end of it. So we actually gave him a £5 tip.
And quite often they end up making more.
Yeah. Because you're like, he's done this, he's got photos, he's got this.
And he says, look, and he takes your photo for you on your phone, and then at the end he says, look, this is completely free. Don't feel obliged to give me anything at all. But I do accept tips. I've got a contactless payment system here.
Yeah.
You can pay me on PayPal. You can pay me in Bitcoin. Here's all the
picture
details.
of
QR code.
My sick child.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, some of the Shopify kind of list is some of your obvious kind of culprits in terms of like side hustles. Sell your photography. You could
Boring.
That's some paparazzi stuff.
That's just never going to work.
Create or sell your own handmade goods. I don't know if anything.
That'd be cool.
That'd be quite good if someone give you money for that.
Participate in paid online service. You'd have to do about 20,000 to even make a tenner, probably.
Oh yeah, they pay you pennies. Don't they?
Yeah.
But get sponsorship on social media. That's easier said than done, though.
Yeah, that's really tough. I mean, it depends on who you are. Drop shipping was in there. That's, if you've got the capital to start that can be really lucrative.
Yeah. I mean, this is what Shopify said. I don't know what else you've been looking at, Chris, in terms of side hustles.
Well, Tony, so I thought, with the advent of AI, I'm going to ask ChatGPT what for some interesting side hustle ideas. So let me know what you think of these.
Wow.
So it came up with some interesting ones. Mystery picnic organizer. It said, plan and set up mystery picnics for clients. They get clues to find their way to a surprise picnic spot where everything is set up for a delightful meal. I kind of like that one. People pay. Maybe it's somebody's birthday. It's in Hyde Park. And I think I've actually seen stuff like this before. And they've just got to follow clues and find their way to their picnic, wherever it might be. And then they sit down. They've got a big hamper there. You got loads of booze. You got some great food, maybe afternoon tea style.
The only thing I would say about that is that it's great. So I just worry about food poisoning when it comes to picnics. Is it sitting out too long? Is it food that's cold? Is packaged properly? That's what I would
And we
say.
could be sued.
Yeah.
So we have to be really careful. Just long life products.
Spam. You can't go wrong with spam. A tin of spam and bread.
And then you keep it more low cost and you're sort of saving the planet again.
Yeah.
Here you go. So next one. Personal paparazzi. Offer to follow clients around, with their permission, of course, it says, and take candid photos of them throughout the day, making them feel like a celebrity. I have seen this, particularly when I've been on holiday. They have these things on like Airbnb experiences or whatever, where they'll take photos for you all day for Instagram. Particularly, and some people really love it, particularly in these beautiful places like Thailand I was last year, in these stunning beach destinations with the limestone cliffs behind them. They'll just go around all day taking photos of you. So that one can work.
I might actually
explore that. And probably in London, seriously, like in London, you must have loads of people wanting to do that. This is where it begins to get a little bit crazy. Mermaid/merman instructor. If you're a good swimmer, consider teaching mermaid swimming classes. This involves wearing a special mermaid tail and teaching others how to gracefully swim in it. That was a good one. What do you think of that?
Would I pay money for that?
I'm not. Depending on how insane you are, you might.
That is niche, but I'm sure there is a...
I bet there are people who would love that.
Yeah, I think if you're good looking, that will help as well.
Yeah, I mean, we could set that up and do it in the Thames. Mobile bed tucking service. I think this is my favourite. Offer a service where you go to clients' homes to ensure their beds are perfectly made. You could even read a bedtime story or provide a warm glass of milk for an added touch. But I was thinking, and it doesn't say here, by the way, like it did before, with their permission. So, you know how you go to some countries and you're driving your car, there's a traffic jam, you're at the traffic lights, and they'll come and try and sell you bananas or little bits and pieces. What do you think about this? With mobile bed tucking, I don't know if people would want it initially.
Yeah.
if you put an ad in the paper or whatever. So if you just go around a neighbourhood, let's say their door's unlocked, you just find that it's unlocked. You know it's their bedtime, you've been watching them for a few days, and you just wander in, and you're like, look, no harm whatsoever intended here. I've just come to tuck you into bed, right? I'm going to make sure your bed is perfectly made once you're in. I'm going to tuck you right in, make sure you're perfectly tucked up. I've got a book here to read you, just a short bedtime story. I've got a warm glass of milk. I've got 2 options, warm cow's milk or warm oat milk. What do you say? I'll let myself out on the way out.
Yeah.
I'll make sure the door is locked if you give me a key. Wait, do you think that could work?
I think it could work for some people. It sounds downright creepy for most. I think
Right.
if you're in America, you might get shot. But I think some people who wouldn't want it. I think there's a need sometimes that people will pay for a service for like some people you could pay to get hugged and stuff. You know, you have these people that come to hug you to get you tucked in to feel cozy. Yeah, I reckon some people would pay for that. I can imagine that happening in Japan for some reason. Some place like that. You know, you can rent a girlfriend, you can rent a friend, you can rent a fat person. I can imagine some dodgy extras could happen in this type of thing. You can earn a bit more money from your side hustle. After you tuck them in, maybe they might want milk. Where
They might want to have a bit more of a tuck.
All I'm saying,
Tucking off.
a tug or
tug,
whatever.
yeah.
All I would say is that you just mentioned 2 different types of milk. There might be a third milk that they might. I don't know. But yeah, that's interesting. That ChatGPT kind of
the
thought
idea,
that.
but you know, I think this would be a great social experiment. Should we put an ad up for this mobile bed tucking service and just see if anybody actually is interested in it?
Apparently, I mean, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, the UK, it might be.
Those little tear-off ones.
You might get some.
We
interest.
don't. Yeah, the culture here is a bit standoffish at times. I don't know if people would want it.
Apparently, in Canada, from a documentary I saw of Bowling from Columbine, is that people leave their doors open because it's so safe. So maybe it might work in Canada.
And this is the thing, you know, people think it's got less and less safe in the UK. Crime has been falling off a cliff. If you go back, crime statistics from since
really?
they've begun, they've just consistently gone down. And so obviously we have this 24-hour news cycle, we have social media now, so you're always seeing the bad news. But actually crime's right down.
Okay, that's positive.
So yeah, I think we should put this out and just see if we get any tech. But I do sort of think to myself, who would actually want this? And I think there'd be a load of weirdos.
Yeah,
Would they be people we want to tuck into bed?
Yeah, they might end up tucking you in bed. Yeah, without your permission.
Yeah. But yeah, and you just reminded me before, free hugs. Remember that? That was a big thing like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Free hugs.
like the group of people that just hug each other.
And then you just say, look, we do accept donations. We said it was free. It is free. But if you want to offer a donation, you can.
Yeah.
Here's my contactless payment system. And then the final one, Tony, from ChatGPT is a custom potato message sender. Write messages on potatoes and mail them to people as a quirky alternative to traditional cards or notes. So it doesn't say that this is a service. It's just like, write a load of messages on potatoes and mail them. So it actually costs you to put it in the post. And maybe you just say, want another one? You have to pay me next time.
How would you write a message on a potato? Would you cut it into a slice and then...
Yeah, maybe you slice it. Or like, you know, this is the thing. You just put a label on it. Like you get it, if you get it from the supermarket, you have to put a label sometimes.
That'd probably be easier, just put a label on the potato. And
And this is the thing, like, and then people can use the potato afterwards. Or you can just like, I'm sure there's a safe way to just indent it into the side of the potato.
Yeah, that is...
Who knows?
That is completely random.
Yeah.
Yeah, strange one. Custom potato... I don't know where ChatGPT got mermaids and like potato from.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, potato, I think, is the best one.
But yeah, if we just kind of touch on own personal side hustles, I mean, like, what would be your side hustle, Chris?
I think starting a podcast.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think that'd be a really good
another
one.
one?
What do you think? Yeah, it's a better one than this one. Euro Millions.
Well, who knows? You might get more traction. I mean, Euro Millions is, instead of 4 million, you'll talk about 100 million.
Yeah, so you basically 20x'd it.
Yeah, I mean,
or 50, even more.
we'd be laughing with 100 million.
But yeah, I mean, the other ones that that a lot of people do, and I think for me, websites.
Yeah.
Because you can create anything up. It's very cheap to do it. Now with the advent of AI that I've been talking about, you've seen the fantastic ideas that we've got from ChatGPT.
Yeah.
You know, this is the kind of thing that we can do.
Yeah. Or like apps. Apps was a big one. Imagine maybe that guy who created Flappy Bird.
Oh, yes.
He was just milking it like day after day on like the ad revenue because it kept refreshing every time people would like kind of fail on the game. Genius. Absolute genius.
That was a great game as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. Cool. So that's our topic of the week. If we move on to segment 3, which is picking next week's numbers. So what are some of the stories that are kind of screaming at us to kind of help us select the winning lottery numbers? So the first story I wanted to go with is a story in America. So Kansas.
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. And it was about a couple. And this couple was charged with collecting a man's retirement while keeping his body in their home for 6 years. So this guy's died. And they've kind of kept... Well, they said that he was still alive for 6 years. And just to keep claiming his kind of pension, which is... I guess
This is disgusting.
And I'm looking at the article. It seems like it's just pretty much a bit of a fraud case. I don't think they murdered him. He just died. So pacemaker, kind of failed. Died in 2016, but they didn't discover his body to 2022.
Oh my God!
So between that period, he was obviously still getting his payments, and obviously they were.
And
kind
so
of
they
paying it.
fraudulently. And this reminds me of one we did the other week, where it was. I mean, it was probably much worse. That one where they'd actually invented kids to claim, the identity of kids to claim their benefits, their child benefits or whatever.
Talk about side hustles. This was quite.
It's an inventive one.
This is passive income at its best. You don't have to do anything except try to hide a body or pretend that you are that person. But yeah, so they would. How much did they collect out of those six years? Is $215,000.
Wow, that's better than the average side hustle.
That is a
significantly better.
Yeah. Imagine that, and then you kind of invested that.
So was it 215,000 over the 6 years?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not as brilliant, but I mean that is a huge amount to actually be able to make.
So imagine that, we talk about you could just use that money to invest. You still got your normal day job to cover your costs, and that's just purely invest or fund money. But yeah, 6 years they managed to kind of keep that story going until they were found out. And I think I'm just trying to look at look at this. Family members told Kansas City Star that the Ritters, who so that was a couple, would repeatedly give them excuses on why Carol could never take a phone call or visit, while leading them to believe that Carol was still alive. How long could you keep that story going on? I mean, they did quite well for 6 years. Incredible. So yeah, the couple were due to appear in federal court. So that's February the 2nd. But they didn't respond to any kind of email messages from the newspaper.
I just love to hear what the excuses were.
So I think there's no way out of that one. Imagine having to pay that back. I don't know, or they could do prison time.
The thing is, it was the same thing, wasn't it, with the fraudulent child benefit ones? And I guess they just want the money back if they can, back in the public purse.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you've spent a lot, you're screwed. So hopefully what they did is they invested it, and they actually made a return on that money for their sake. And then they've actually made something out of it after all.
And who could blame them? I mean, like, it's hard to get them, come on, there's an opportunity. There's money on the table. It's just like, I can see their perspective. Obviously, it's wrong.
Yeah,
it's against the law.
We do not accept that kind of behaviour. But it's a side hustle, nonetheless.
It is a side hustle. It's an unconventional one. So my next number that I'm going for is a number 50. And this number is connected to something that I really get annoyed about. And what do I get annoyed about?
Dubai.
Not only that, but poo. I get annoyed about poo.
Robbie Williams. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you would call Robbie Williams.
I wouldn't
Pretty
be that
crap,
offensive. I think he's done well to get where he's got to, and he is talented. I just prefer Gary Barlow.
No.
But yeah, one thing that annoys me is that people who have dogs, and you get a dog, there's a responsibility to look after that dog, and when you take it for walks and it needs to, nature takes its course, then when your dog poos, you need to clean it up. You can't leave it on the sidewalk.
I completely agree. No, I completely agree. And I see it. Where was it? I saw it at the weekend. People just left it lying around. It's just pathetic. I mean, it's just the 101.
Yeah.
If you've got a dog, fine, take it for a walk.
Yeah.
It's going to have to do its business. Bring your little scooper thing and pick it up. And chuck it in the dog bin afterwards.
They do that thing with the plastic bag. They use that as a glove, don't they? And then they kind of...
Or take an empty thing of Pringles and put it in there. We've spoken about that before.
And, with the Italians, I like how passionate they are.
Yeah.
And this is, the Italians are passionate and they're taking action. So this is happening in an Italian province. And they're actually having dog DNA detectives trace owners for not scooping the poop. So they're actually literally hunting these people down. So
DNA tests, I mean, that's extreme.
Yeah, so I guess they have to tackle the problem, the scourge of dog mess on the streets. There's just poop everywhere. It's like, we need to find these people, hold them to account.
And I think they're right, Tony.
Yeah.
If I were in politics, if it were me, I'd do this. I'd say £5,000 fine if you drop litter. There are bins everywhere. Just hold on to it until you get to the bin.
Yeah.
I just find it disgraceful and all that sort of thing. Chewing gum, whatever it is. Let's just go to war on the litter louts.
It's ruining it for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're creating a DNA registration database. So once they find these people, they will fine them. So it's like the minimal fine is 50 to 500 euros.
Good. It should be higher. And you know what? Can we do that for litter droppers as well? Litter louts. Can we actually get the DNA off the litter? That's my policy.
Yes,
I've got a lot of ideas to get into politics now. And you know what I'm going to say?
Yeah.
Everybody, it's non-negotiable. Everybody has to put their DNA into the system. And we've got to have your fingerprints, everything. And if we see that a bit of litter is, we'll have AI robots or drones going around picking up all the litter.
Yeah.
And then matching it against whoever dropped it.
And you wouldn't.
And you face jail time.
Yeah.
You face jail time if you've done that.
And plus, you wouldn't need to pay it out of your own. It will automatically get deducted from your bank account
through our app.
Yeah, through the AI.
Through our new government AI app. But and to be honest, the fair way to do it is just that if you've dropped litter, you're going to pick up in that area litter. I mean, not something else for the next 6 months.
Yeah, or
community service.
Or we'll stick all like dog poop right in front of your front door.
Oh, or we go inside your home and just empty a bin in there.
Yeah.
And see how you like that one.
Yeah. So they understand.
Mobile bed tucking service with a twist. Just empty a bin on your bed.
So so that's the number 50 that I'm going for, the 50 euros. And that's the cheapest fine.
Make it higher, seriously.
Yeah, so the next one that I had was the number 43. So this is connected to sport. So,
a sport that you love.
I do like it. It's quite a classy sport.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if people are following, but the Australian Open was happening.
It's funny. I'm a big tennis fan. When Wimbledon's on, I watch it intently. And then every time Wimbledon finishes, I'm like, okay, I know we've got 3 other Opens. I'm going to watch them this time. And then every time it just passes me by. And I think the problem is they should put it on the BBC or whatever. It's all on like Amazon Prime, and I just don't ever hear much about it.
Doesn't have that same tradition. I mean, I don't know how long it's been running for.
Oh, I guess it's also the time difference.
Yeah.
And even the US one's a bit...
Is that on... No, the US is on grass still, isn't it? Or is it hard?
No, yeah. Only Wimbledon is grass.
Oh, right. Yeah. Australian Open's on hard. The blue court. Is that hard?
Yeah, do you know what? French is clay.
Clay, yeah.
Australian might even be clay, is it? Let's do. If this were a
Right.
quiz question, I'd probably go.
Australian Open.
Yeah, let's find this out live on air. Probably say. Oh no, it looks like the blue, the hard court.
Clay.
I apologise. Hard courts. Yeah.
It's hard courts. That's probably why it's not as classy.
Yeah.
It's got a
nowhere
squeaky
near.
sound and stuff.
Yeah.
But what's significant about Australian Open this year was Rohan Bopanna. So apologies if I butchered that. He's become the oldest tennis player, or oldest tennis world number one, age 43. So he actually won it now. So it's the doubles. So if you haven't heard of him, that's probably why.
Yeah.
Just doubles.
Yeah.
But at 43,
To be world number one, it might be doubles, it might be boring, it might be useless, but that is an achievement of 43.
That is great. I mean, like, he can definitely retire now. Probably.
He
should
should,
retire.
but he might want to become the oldest person to ever win the doubles as well. I don't know what that record is, but notably, it doesn't say he's broken that record. I mean, do you remember Navratilova, the lady? She was winning it. I think she was nearly 50, maybe even above 50.
Oh, yeah, she was wearing
winning.
glasses and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with doubles, obviously, you don't need to be as agile. You've got somebody else covering your back. You can keep going.
It's one of those things that you become so good at the sport that it's not about the running. You're kind of preempting where you need to be and it's all strategic.
Technique.
Yeah, technique. So, yeah, that's the number 43 because he was, the oldest tennis world number one at age 43. So that's the number I'm going with. What about for you, Chris? What numbers are you going for this week?
So, a couple from my end. First one I'm going with is the number 26, which is a furious woman who thought she'd won the postcode lottery, but all she got was a couple of scented candles. So, Tony, this lady, Paige, 26 years old from Newcastle, Geordie, received a box from the postcode lottery. And obviously she was quite excited. I think her partner actually received this in the day and she came home. She said, "Oh, you got a box from the postcode lottery in there." She couldn't believe it. In the back of my head, she says, "I'm quitting my job. I'm moving abroad. My life's going to be fantastic." Do you know what I mean? I had it all planned out until she opened the box. So it was a box packed within a box. It smelled nice. She was convinced that they'd sprayed the check with perfume. And then when she actually opened it up, all it was a couple of scented candles. And that is, I don't know what you think about that, but
That's
postcode
cool.
lottery, you're sending out parcels. The best bit of all was that it said on the front of the box somewhere, "Congratulations," or something like that. And then all she got was scented candles, which she called totally unacceptable. I can't believe they would do this.
Emotional damage.
Emotional damage is what she said. And quite frankly, I agree with her.
Yeah, that is cruel. That is. I think that is quite cruel.
Here it is. So the box read, "Congratulations, Paige." That's what it said. So I don't know what they're trying to do. I think they're trying to toy with people's emotion. But this is not the first time postcode lotteries come up.
Yeah.
Which we don't play.
No.
We don't play that. We just play the national lottery.
We're not that desperate.
No,
we
yeah, that's desperate. Super expensive as well in the postcode lottery. But box of scented candles. Just keep people engaged, I guess.
The only time that is relevant and okay to do, I think if they did it around April Fools. That would be quite nice if they PR doing that, but yeah.
Good laugh, yeah. Or just put on the front a small token of our thanks or something like this. So that's postcode lottery. But Tony, let's steer it back to, and by the way, that was number 26 because she's 26 years old, Paige.
Okay.
Poor lady. Let's take it back though to the real lottery. The national lottery. And I'm sure many of our listeners who are avid lottery players will know that the operator for donkey's years, I think probably since the game was introduced in the UK, is Camelot. Well, the licence has changed hands, Tony, and this happened in the last couple of years where a company named Allwyn won the award to take over the operating licence and that is going to come into effect this Thursday. So this is huge news for lottery players. The operator of the National Lottery in the UK is going to change this Thursday. And what I'm thinking, Tony, the first thing I thought was, we mentioned this earlier, with the names of the machines.
I've never heard of that one
It's
before.
Knights of the Round Table, isn't it? And it's all to do with King Arthur. I hope that doesn't change. But what I read was that because Camelot actually hotly disputed the award of the licence to Allwyn, it was ultimately settled by Allwyn just buying out Camelot, which I guess makes sense anyway, because Camelot would have had all the infrastructure to actually operate it. So what they did is they just bought out Camelot, and they're going to take over on Thursday.
Hopefully Camelot in the deal said, look, you can buy us out, but we need to keep the names. We need
The
to
machine
keep,
names.
We need to keep Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table.
All of them.
All of them.
All of them. So that was why. If anybody ever wondered why it was Knights of the Round Table, obviously Camelot is the name of the company, which was his mythical... Well, we don't know if it's mythical. That was the name of his court, wasn't it? Camelot.
I thought it was the name of the cast. No, I don't know.
Oh, it was something.
The court, yeah.
I think it was. And they had a fantastic theme park named Camelot as well up in near Bolton.
Oh, right.
And it's now abandoned, so you can try and break in and get into this abandoned.
Oh, right.
But yeah, so that's Allwyn have bought it out. Now, the headline of this is that they had pledged to cut the price of a ticket from £2 to £1. But now, of course, they're saying, we have to delay this. There's been too many legal disputes. So that's quite interesting. They're still saying eventually they might cut the price of a ticket from £2 to £1 would be brilliant.
I can't remember when it was £1. I remember when it was £1, like
Donkeys
decades ago.
Yeah, back in the day.
I reckon that could work quite well. Maybe more people would buy it now.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I think you get many more people. And also, when you use the app, you got to upload, but you've got to go in increments of 5 to deposit. So if you put in a £5 at the moment, it's a bit frustrating. You're like, I can buy 2 tickets and then need to do something else. But here, you just buy 5 tickets. So that'd be really good. Get more people involved. But do we want more people playing? Only if they listen to this pod.
Yeah, and if it helps to increase the jackpot every week, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So what they've said is Allwyn, they want to raise £38 billion for good causes in the next 10 years, which is their operating licence tenure. So I think it's worth just bringing that up again, Tony, that the National Lottery, it puts all of this money back into good causes as well. So obviously they make a hefty profit for themselves as well, but they do reinvest a lot of this money, and it certainly helped, for example, the British Olympics teams, but also sport in local communities with schools and all the rest of it. So I've gone with the number 38 on that one, Tony, because it's 38 billion that they want to raise in the next 10 years, so 3.8 billion per year. And then the final one for me, Tony, the FA Cup was on this weekend. What was Arsenal's result again?
Oh, I haven't been following it for obvious reasons.
I don't think Arsenal had a result. Newcastle, of course, stormed through to the 5th round with a smashing victory at Craven Cottage against Fulham.
Oh, right.
2-0. And we're going to play either Blackburn or Wrexham in the 5th round, which is the last 16. So that would get us into the quarterfinals. I'm quite pleased with that. But Tony, I really just wanted to take a moment because there was just one game that stuck out, and I just really want to congratulate them. Manchester United on their famous victory at Newport County yesterday, because the way they celebrated their 3rd and 4th goals, it really did seem like they'd won the league. The fans, I was thinking, are the fans actually going to celebrate this? And they were going crazy. But Anthony and Rasmus Højlund were the 2 players who scored their 3rd and 4th goals. And I think it might be Anthony's first goal of the season. It's been a long time since he scored. And he really did celebrate like he just won a trophy. He just won the World Cup with Brazil.
Goal's a goal, I guess.
A goal's a goal. Yeah. But I'm just thinking, maybe Tony, they found their level. Anthony, the £80 million winger. Rasmus Højlund, he's almost up to 5 goals domestically in the.
I never heard of him before, and he came to Manchester. He's almost like Haaland, the wish Haaland, they describe as like.
I think they just wanted, his name sounds similar. He's Scandi. Is he also Norwegian, actually?
Actually, he's Scandi, but I don't know exactly what country.
He's just clearly not. And I keep having this debate with people. Everybody's saying, "Oh, he's been unlucky." Before he scored yesterday, it was Danny Murphy or someone was on saying, "Oh, but he's creating so much space for the other players. He's playing against a team in League Two."
But I think that's the beauty of the FA Cup, though.
Yeah,
anyone can beat anyone.
It is. But Anthony's right. To be fair, it was a good finish. It was an instinctive finish on the rebound for the goal. Yeah. But before that, he was trying to get past these League Two defenders, and he was just falling to the ground, trying to buy a foul. It was quite embarrassing. So I know we've talked about Anthony before, and there was quite a funny moment in the game yesterday where I'm not going to say what they actually did sing, the fans, but it's quite funny on BBC Radio Wales. The commentator got it wrong, and it was like, "Oh, the fans are singing Anthony's the greatest."
But it was
and there's just a moment where you can then hear it in the background what it really is, and it sounds a bit like greatest. We can't say for legal reasons what it actually was, but we'll possibly share that clip.
Well, if this could be the impetus for them to actually win the FA Cup, I hope not.
Oh, I hope not. Yeah, I mean, listen, and I think they've probably got another easy draw again as well. So they're still in it. Obviously, Newcastle is still in it. Liverpool are still in it, and City.
Oh.
I don't know. Oh, Chelsea and Villa have got a replay, so one of those will be in it. And of course, Maidstone. Maidstone got through. They won it. They're not even in the conference.
They're the lowest team.
They're the division below what is now the conference.
Wow.
And they knocked out Ipswich.
I don't
know who they got.
Should we see
have
a look?
Yeah, this is great. Maidstone FA Cup draw. To be decided. Why? Why is it to be decided?
Look at these names. Dover Athletic.
But yeah, I think it was really good. Oh, we'll play Sheffield Wednesday or Coventry. Could you imagine, Tony? So that means one of those three teams will be in the quarterfinals. At least we'll have some.
I'm a bit bored with the FA Cup. We've won it too many times.
Yeah. No, absolutely right. Brighton is still in it as well. So Brighton, they're a good side.
I don't know who. I probably wouldn't mind Newcastle winning it.
Oh, come on. It'd be great to see us do it.
Yeah, get some silver.
I think on our day, in a neutral ground or at home, we could beat anybody. And obviously the semis and the final are both at Wembley. Maybe if we get a home draw in the quarterfinal, we could do it.
I think it'd be a good day out. I want to see Eddie Howe holding the trophy.
Yes. Yeah.
And even just to see some of the players that he still kept on. Just like winning something.
Dan Burn.
Yeah.
Dan Burn lifting the FA. But yeah, so that's the number 4, Tony. So I just wanted to say, Erik ten Hag, well done, mate. You finally got a fantastic victory there, 4-2. How much longer can this go on, Tony, with Erik ten Hag?
Well, isn't he going to still... Did he sign a new contract or something?
I don't know.
What's that going to happen? No.
I don't know. I just cannot, for the life of me, how much longer can this man cling on?
Well, there's actually the flip side for what I'm reading. Is that they're like the place that they can outlast the manager and get a new one, and they carry on the same way. But if you have the same manager says, "I'm not moving," you've either got to step up or I'm going to get some new players.
He does think he's a headmaster, doesn't he? Because he's having to go at Rashford now. Apparently, Rashford was pictured at a nightclub and then said he was ill the next day, which obviously is bad. So he just he was asked about that yesterday. He kept saying, internal matter. This is an internal matter.
And obviously the boards change, or like and stuff like that. So it's interesting. See hopefully more drama happens. It'll be quite interesting.
Oh, I hope so. I hope they continue to be as rubbish as they are.
So if we just kind of go through what are the winning numbers. Well, I hope so, the winning numbers. But what are the numbers that we'll be buying for this Saturday's draw? It's 4, 6, 26, 38, 43 and 50. So, yeah, it's good to get into the swing of things. So, it should be good. Good to see that Premier League's back. I know I haven't been following FA Cup, but
Yeah. Anybody who fancy football?
yeah,
That's a bit of a difficult one because the deadline's in an unexpected day.
I can't remember. Am I beating you on fantasy football? I need to check that. I haven't
You're
looked.
miles behind me, mate.
I think I might even have Haaland or something.
You're absolutely. I've still got Haaland. I kept Haaland the whole way through, which has been completely. But I'm doing quite well this year.
Okay, I need to look at that.
Definitely need to do that on the way home.
Yes,
That's essential to go on it because I haven't really thought about it. But Tony, another thing is, a hot topic on this pod, XL Bully Dogs, and they are now banned. I can't remember if I mentioned this on the last one, so it is worth...
What, that's been implemented now?
It has been implemented. You can't get new ones.
Okay. And where they're shipping all the current ones, that's still...
I don't know. I think... We need to let this one up as well. I think if you've got one, as long as you muzzle it whenever you go outside, you're okay to keep it.
Yeah.
Let's
have a look.
Might be. Yeah, we need to work this out. XL Bully Dog ban UK.
England and Wales. I think, what about Scotland? I think you still have them in Scotland, maybe.
Well, right. It became illegal to breed, sell, advertise, rehome, abandon, or allow an XL Bully Dog type to stray. So, presumably, you can't sell, you can't breed, but if you've already got one, it's fine. It's also a legal requirement for all XL Bully Dogs to be kept on a lead and muzzled when in public. And yeah, that's it, because I saw this meme.
Yeah.
There are a lot of XL Bully Dog owners who are really upset about it, and they were holding funerals and stuff like that. And I saw a great one where this woman who owned one actually put a muzzle on herself while she took the dog out. So they've been causing quite a lot of great memes. So I thought we'd better do that. And I saw a great one.
Yeah.
Because today Rishi Sunak's banned disposable vapes.
I saw that. I think that makes sense.
So it does make sense. A lot of kids doing that. And then I saw a great meme where the XL Bully Dog in heaven was just
He's
with the disposable vape. But yeah, XL Bully Dogs. I mean,
thank God. I mean, I saw a
we're
video.
finally safe on the streets.
I saw a video where this lady had two of them. She was struggling to hold them. One man said, "Oh, you can just grab one for her," and he started attacking him. And he had some nice puffer jacket, and you just see you tearing bits off it, and you see feathers going everywhere.
All the duck feathers.
Near like the train platform.
And that was probably a 700 down coat, like my one.
Yeah. And the thing is that she can barely control it. It's like some people have these bully dogs, and if it goes off, like it loses, they can lose control quite easily. They're very powerful dogs. But yeah, I'm not a big fan. I think it's that I'm happy about. Disposable vapes, I think the issue with that is the battery, because they've got the electronics, right? And
it's not good for the environment.
It's not good for the environment,
So, no, I do agree with that one, to be honest.
But it's not vape, like you can still get refillable vape.
You can get a refillable vape, which is cheaper anyway, so...
Okay, brilliant. I think that brings us to the end of episode 16. Hopefully we inspired some of our listeners to maybe look at a side hustle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we've got our side hustle, which is playing the lottery to win it.
No. Right now we're in the negative, but I can feel that we're getting closer and closer to just making that return on investment absolutely colossal.
Yeah, I think we could end our side hustle next week.
I think we probably will.
Yeah. Maybe we want to keep it going. It keeps things interested. We'll keep doing the side hustle until we don't want to do it anymore, or until we don't need to. And that's the dream, right? Isn't
Absolutely.
it? Brilliant. So see you next week.
On Win Me the Lottery.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.